Good morning, everyone. Monday morning. We're back live at the screens and another huge dump overnight. All right, market just bleeding out. We're going to go over why very, very shortly. Making sure you can all hear me, and then let's get into some top-down analysis as we always do. Good morning, Coop, Ramos, Exista, Jake and Up One, Chris, DJ, Ryan, Jeff, Miguel, Cat. Amazing. Yeah, hopefully it sounds way better now. All right, so let's get straight into the charts. Daily chart. What do we have in on daily chart? We are extending Friday's low of day, Friday's close. We're extending down. Bearish pressure continues to bleed onto the market. Where are we trading into and towards? This Bollinger Band, which is opening itself up for a rundown with the 5-day and the 20-day starting to point downwards. What were the targets we talked about Friday if we were going to bleed? This area right here as potential stops and support. And this here was where all the stops were. All right, all the daily stops were in there, because you have to imagine if you are a buyer here, numerous times for this breakout and push up. If you haven't sold the top and we're coming back into your area, you're probably stopping out, and then you have to see now, does smart money hold this level, or are we going to start driving back down lower and lower and lower? So that's the first question I have to today. Moving into a higher time frame chart, just the hourly chart, you will see again, point of control from Friday, low of day from Friday. We had that nice drive up in the afternoon to sell it back off. Yesterday at the open, in Sunday's open, right, we went sideways, testing previous day low, Friday low, weekly low, over and over and over again before a liquidation snap. So every bull involved in that market from last week, probably holding a swing over the weekend, looking for that return back into some imbalances, for that drive up, the counter trend push, is going to wake up underwater. All right, they're waking up underwater today. So you've got to remember these levels here, low of day, and this blue box here, this point of control, is going to be key. All right, we start to reclaim some of these. Late shorts will get squeezed, but for now, late longs in Friday session are getting punished. All those longs holding overnight from Friday into the morning are getting punished. Moving into the 5-minute chart, you can see here your Globex sessions. All right, so the Asia session and London session. You can see all we've simply done is break Friday's low. Asia chopped around, built the liquidity until it finally liquidated. All these stops, all these buyers got absolutely smashed, and we came down to the next key level, which is the same level we talked about on the daily. So right now we're building a bear flag versus VWAP for a potential retest of this low. That's going to be the easiest setup if it plays out, a retest of that low. How they act at that low then becomes key. All right, if they start to hold this low and build up like this, we have a possible return back to London and Asia high, and to come and fill some of these imbalances up here. Otherwise, we're simply looking for higher time frames for trend continuation, higher highs, lower highs and lower lows on the session. But you have to remember, we're pretty far extended here. All right, so we're watching this Globex session, we're watching that VWAP. You can, of course, use anchored VWAPs off the pivots, and then into the 1 minute, or we can do a 2-minute time frame if you'd rather, easier to see. These are the same levels I had in from last week. All right, so this blue level is just where we've gone and revisited. If I go to a 4-hour and take these off for a second, you'll see why. All right, moving along, these are where buyers kept trying to soak dips last week. All right, they're trying to soak off last week in November. They're trying to soak off these levels. All right, so this is now flipped bearish. And the next pool that we'll drive into will be 500 or 520 all the way down to 380s. Right, that's the next pool we will drive down to if it cannot hold. Right, so retests of key levels will be retests of breakdowns, which we've just done here, and VWAP, retest here, maybe this old low, maybe the point of control back into here. Right, that would be a nice trade if it offers it. From this point, if it puts in a bullish signal, then we're going to go for that return further up. If it starts to break down, break and retest into the next liquidity pool. We're just going to trade the flow of the market from zone to zone. Very, very simple. We don't need to overcomplicate it more than that. What I would say is we are opening up. Oh, I need to do that. we're opening up very, very weak on the session. All right, let's have a look at how far down we are. 1.1% down on the Qs, 250 points down on the session overnight already. ES, just under 1% down, 0.8% down, 46 points down on this session already. We are starting to get more and more and more volatile in this market. You are going to have to watch your sizing. I cannot say it enough. Let's have a quick look at some of these real quick, shall we? Bonds. Daily time frame. All right, peaked out last week like we expected. Is this very simply going to be a breakout and retest on the bonds? If so, continued upside. That is very, very bad for the market. All right, so that's what the market's watching right now. We are watching these treasury bonds, especially like the 10-year and the 30-year. They're all pretty much doing the same. Dixie is on a tear, right, which is absolutely nuts. Dixie just on an absolute tear ever since the election. All right, this is on a hourly chart. Higher highs and higher lows coming into old supply up here. Big supply level up here. And then on top of that, you have gold. Gold holding in a range now. Right, just building liquidity in this range, and it has been doing this for a couple months now, starting to go sideways, which is what gold traditionally likes to do, is to trade out of ranges. If we look at Mag 7, make sure I've got my extended on. There we go. So Apple gapping down. Get through this quickly, 4 minutes till open. Apple gapping down, looking very, very weak. Most of them going to be the same. Microsoft also gapping down, but has found bids of 413. So it's starting to try and find a drive back upside. Amazon, very similar, gapping down, trying to find a drive back upside into Friday's range. Google gapping down, tried to find a drive upside, but is so far rejecting the lows of Friday. Meta, very interesting. More in a range-bound market, I would say, in Meta, holding at the midpoint between Friday's low, Friday's high. Nvidia getting absolutely walloped. All right, Nvidia just getting completely destroyed here. All right, new lows coming. And Tesla very much the same as Nvidia, but Tesla coming into a key area here, all the way down to, let's call it 72s. All right, Tesla key area down to 72. So if the market's going to bounce, it's going to need Nvidia and Tesla to start joining in for that bounce. Right, market is very, very weak on the mags right now. Very, very weak. So what am I going to look for today? Very simple. Oh, we are in a bearish market. Higher time frame is bearish. We are extended to the downside, but we do have possible moves. If we start to break here, we can trade down into this next pull down here. If we hold this overnight low, or we sweep and soak, if we hold this and do a bullish move, or we sweep and soak up, I'm going to be looking for that counter trend trade back into supply levels above. All right, there's lots of range on this chart. There is a huge amount of range upside and downside today. So I'll be watching. If we're going to do that, if we're going to hold the low or sweep and hold the low, I'll be looking for that trade back into sort of 870, a previous day low, London session high, Asia session high, possibly. I'm going to watch that very, very carefully, that Friday low that we put in. It's going to be pretty key. All right, if we hold this, can we return up here? Do we then reject this and come back down and create a range, or do we start putting a squeeze on? Those are those questions I'm asking myself right now. I do not want to short the lows today. That's the one thing I don't want to do. I'll short a breakout retest on a low, but I'm not just going to join in short on the lows, right? Huge range in this market. Very easy to get stuck. About 30 seconds to open. So I'm going to let this shake out. Not much news today. All the news is coming, by the way, tomorrow and Wednesday. Huge news on the week coming tomorrow and Wednesday. Morning, Zista, TR, Marek, Steve, Asa, Araya, Minix, Mindful Matters, Christy and Miguel, CPI at 11. Yeah, the main CPI PPI print though will be coming Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when I think most the liquidity, most of the big moves will enter the market this week. But let's see. So far in this bear flag, and we're watching the M5 and M1. That's really what I'm watching at the moment. Just want to see, do we retest the lows and how do we act at that lows? I'm also going to watch the liquidity on the book. So definite buying orders down here. 725, 200 lot down there. 745, 100 lot there. And 750, just under a 90 lot there. All right, so let's see if they get filled. 725, well, that's the lowest one I see on the book right now. Oh, 700's just come on 100 lot. So they're looking to retest the lows that we talked about. I'm just going to turn my heating down because it's starting to get super, super hot. Pull this off and I'll be right back. I'm not in a rush to trade this morning. Let it build out the range and then I'll get involved. Remember, you are multi-time frame bearish. All right, you're multi-time frame bearish. If you're going to look for longs today, they're going to be a counter trend long. You're going to have to be proactive. If you're going to take this bearish breakdown, you can take it, but must protect yourself in towards that Globex low. Have to be a little bit proactive in that in this move down if you're going to look to take this bear flag. One thing I didn't say was the VIX. All right, VIX with a huge gap up. VIX currently trading at 2140s, right? We talked about it last week. That breakout on the VIX is key. So it has room to run upside now. Where can it potentially run to? I'd say the next stop level is all the way at 2530s to 2660s. Just sorting my charts out here while we do this. You can tell I'm not in a rush here right now. All right, I'd like the market to either retest the lows. That would be ideal if it can come lower, and I can think about if it's going to put a bullish pattern in there. I'll think about joining. If it's just going to break down, retest the lows, and keep looking weak, I'm going to just look to short. Really, we're just inside that overnight range. If we're just looking at this, this is kind of first level of range. So I want to see, do we come down here and hold and flip the flow zones and go for a bullish move back up, or do we get weak and we just start to roll over? That's really what I'm looking at the open right now. Mag 7, all right, Apple opening 2% down, all right, 2% down, blood in the market. Microsoft 0.5% down, 0.5% down. Amazon 0.5% down, Google 1.7% down, Meta 2% down, Nvidia 3.7% down, Tesla 2.9% down. All right, they are bleeding out. This is not a day to pick bottoms. When I say I'm going to wait for the retest of the low to see if I want to get bullish, that's what I'm waiting for. I will not be picking a bottom in this market. There is definitely fear in this market right now. So far, that bear flag is playing out pretty good for that retest. So if you took it, congratulations. Just make sure you're paying yourself some money into these areas where we know buyers set up earlier in the session. Tawan, good morning. Okay, so taking out that buyer at the 50s that we talked about. Next level down, 725. 200 lot on the book there at 725. Still very early in the session. You can think about those opening range trades today. Range on this currently 43 points. All right, so you're about to get into another 50 seconds and you'll have your 5-minute orb set up, and then you can think about breakouts of each side of that. Interesting, VIX just trading sideways here, possibly making a giant flag. If it starts breaking underneath 21, VIX has a giant gap fill it can do all the way down to 1970. There goes my hotkeys. How low can this come? That's the question right now. And are we going to break down further? We have liquidity on the daily. Remember, we have liquidity on the daily down at 640, I'd say. Break of that, and we just keep puking. Watching to see if they snap this opening range, 5-minute low, and trade down into 725. And these overnight lows here, that's, yeah, 727 and then 700, basically 690s. They're tapping into towards that level now. Still on the book there. Market very, very red. Very heavy market this morning. Remember, any bull who was involved in Friday is currently underwater. All right, they're currently underwater. Any bulls are underwater. So any move upside is a counter trend play. Question is, how low do we go? How much further are we going to extend this? Do we bleed out all day? It's very, very possible. Do me a favor, 57 of you watching right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button. 50 always a target. Let's get this stream moving. As a reminder, Apex is having some issues with trade evade. Same issues it had last week. All right, people are entering positions and having max loss instantly. They're very aware about it. They're trying to fix it. Don't freak out if it happens. All right, or if you can't take a trade on trade evade, don't freak out. Leave the account. Don't cancel it. Sure, they will fix it as soon as they can. All right, so that's that trade through to 725. Next order on the book now, sitting down at 695. Market just so weak. So that flag playing out, right? We said that channel flag starting to play out. There's your breakdown. Here is the retest of the low. You have to be covering some of your size into this. Must be covering some of your size into this. ES also rejected view up, same place up here, rolling back down into lows. Market continues to bleed. Most of the market over 2% down. Apple 2.6% down. Microsoft actually trying to turn, trying to have an attempt to get back green on the session. Amazon about 1% down. Google over 2% down. Meta over 2.6% down. Nvidia now 4.4% down. Tesla 2.1% down. Treasuries all 0.35% to the upside. VIX 9% up. Dixie still continuing to hold its gains in front of that 110 level. So when all those are strong, when the indicators, the Dixie is strong, when the VIX is strong, when the Treasuries are bond, we will have weakness in the market, which is what we're seeing right now. We're in a risk-off event in the market right now. So hold in front of that 700 for now. Congratulations if you took that trade down. Very, very nice trade down. Paid out very quick. Right, that bear flag. We're in bullish sentiment. Just breakdown after breakdown, but we're coming into key levels. If this snaps, then we have a chance to roll into this pool. Again, on the daily, I am watching 645-ish. Probably just plot that in with a horizontal. Move this down. This is a big daily level down here. And let's also put in New York Open. So all pops being sold into so far. Every single structure just looks like a micro flag to sell lower. The only time that's going to stop is if they get a fail to break down of a low or a key level, and then they return upside. There are some buyers starting to show up on the tape now. 755, oh sorry, sellers, 755, 770, 780, 785, 790. So they're looking for pops higher to get filled. That's all they're looking for. $755's just peeled his off. 770 is still there. All right, so we're looking for a dump here and then maybe a squeeze back up to fill these guys. Very similar to last week. Notice how much bigger the book is. These orders are much, much higher in size. Same as last week. 100 lots spread out over 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. Probably the same guys looking to get filled. So can we get a dump here through the 700s, and then do they start to soak off that, or do we get a liquidation break and just a huge snap out? Coming right into those pre-market lows. QQQ. SPY a bit further to go. VIX starting to turn, right? VIX starting to put in that bullish kind of structure. Watching VIX on a 10-minute, I'd say break of 2150 opens up a little squeeze out towards the high of day on the VIX. Sentiment remains bearish in this market. You're very, very bearish. Okay, remember, this is a daily level down here. This is just a daily liquidity run if we come to it. It's an old low that we put on November the 19th. Right, it's an old low from November the 19th. Doesn't mean it stops there. It's just a pull that I'm looking at after that. Really into 250. Long way down. We've got this support here, but really into 250 as possible. Interesting that it's protecting that overnight low so far. Squeezing back towards the flow zones now. Like we said, you don't want to be short in this pull down here. You had to be covering in that pull down here. If it starts reclaiming New York Open, that is going to be key. All right, there is potential for a squeeze out here if it starts reclaiming New York Open. Lots of liquidity above to aim for. What a drive this is. Wow, very hard to engage in this. 80 points already. So can we get a pullback that holds a retest of those lows or something to get involved in? Big, big imbalance here. Just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. About to take out the initial balance high on the session now. Wild. ES back to VWAP. Happened very, very, very quick. We were exactly what I was talking about. Do we put in a bullish pattern down here? Do we liquidate and then go? So a return into here and a hold potentially will be a shift in the lower time frame for that move. But these are huge candles, huge, huge, huge candles. So just be aware of that. They still haven't run that London low yet. There is options. If they want to run that low, they will run that low. I'm struggling to get my words out this morning. ES right at VWAP. So buyers now on the book at 700. All right, there's a 230 lot down there and a 100 lot just below him. Was this a quick counter trend squeeze up? Do they hold this imbalance now as they drive back down? We drive all the way up, back up to point of control. We have value area low on the session towards the current low of day. With a higher time frame, still very, very bearish. That was just a giant squeeze and covering position, but does it now create a new low? We're trading back into the midpoint of the session now. Or can it hold sort of this break here? Is it going to put in a bullish structure here, or does it just let go and attack further after a squeeze out? Yeah, exactly, Coop. Very wicked reversal kind of candle there without taking it, which is why I don't fully trust it yet. Remember, flow zone's still red. Still got all that liquidity below. Could have just been a squeeze out to then go back down. Letting go of New York low, New York open straight away. Lots of buyers coming back on the book. 700 and under now, all the way down to 675s. So was that just a quick squeeze out to then fail lower? Mag 7, very, very red on the session. This is a very, very bearish day, remember. So anything that you look at for that bullish move is counter trend. You must remember that. All those sellers we talked about, they pretty much all got filled, bar one. ES got stuck at that VWAP. Tricky here, trying to build out a way of using liquidity higher, but we are still in a bearish momentum. Liquidity is sat down here waiting to get filled right now. It's very, very tricky here, especially with these 60 plus point candles. Back to point of control, or just under point of control here. Watching that on an H1. All right, watching that on the H1, that point of control. Letting the market just shake out. It's definitely not really sure what it wants to do here. If they're going to hold and put a trigger squeeze on through the New York Open, or if they need to come and search lower. ES back to VWAP. SPY above its New York VWAP. QQQ pretty much at VWAP. NQ not at its VWAP yet. So watching the ES and the SPY, do they start to build for a rotation higher here, trigger a squeeze off late shorts, or do we need to come and sweep some liquidity at the lows first? Very odd the market hasn't even attempted to do that really today. Buyers on the book at 700 just left. They just exited the book. Interestingly. So I don't know if they're going to come back on or not, but they just exited the book. That's not what you want to see if you're a bear, really. Are we just going to have sort of a chop day here? Looks like it's trying to build out that liquidity to go high. It's just struggling to do it. It needs to break through the New York Open and then get through this VWAP, and it just cannot do it. Cannot do it at the moment. Some sellers up a little bit higher here. Hard to think about buying, but potentially setting up for a squeeze here. M5 starting to look like it wants to put that kind of squeeze look in after sweeping that low at the 7 o'clock low. But having not taken overnight low, that's across the board here. It's very, very tricky. ES back to VWAP yet again. So key points here. ES back to that VWAP. QQQ through its VWAP. So far, ES cannot get a close above and through the VWAP. Market's still very, very heavy, but trying to find some bids in the market now. No buyers down below. There's no magnets below now, which is bizarre. Do they feel like that's it for the day? Move this. So far, holding that retrace out of that imbalance move. Can it build bullish momentum here for the counter trend squeeze, or does it let go and retest the low? Right, kind of in no man's land here, but we are through the New York Open. ES right at the VWAP. ES back to VWAP again. There we go. There's the squeeze I was talking about. So a quick pump through, extending that range. Do bulls start to come in here for a bigger move higher? Remember, we can aim higher. We've got first pivot 843. If it gets through that, we're going to trade to Asia low into 856. And then you've got the London high at 900. Those are big, big targets. Looking to see if I can grab a piece of this in towards and up towards the VWAP. There we go. Beautiful. There's the VWAP tag right there. Beautiful trade. Oof, they made it hard this morning. They made it hard this morning. So some relief here. Remember, don't chase this too high. Next targets are going to be 850s and then all the way into 915. Got to watch that previous day low as well. So some relief coming here in the market. This is just a counter trend squeeze out. Shorts probably got stuck towards that low of day there. We were saying they were trying to build this liquidity here. Reclaim flow zone straight to VWAP, and this is supply now. Supply block 1. Can't be chasing here. Liquidity sat right here. Most of their stops at the top of this supply block. Very tricky in days like this where we've gapped down heavy and there's potential of back tests, but you know being bullish on days like this is very, very dangerous. But once those sellers or those buyers underneath lifted their orders, you know they weren't looking to get filled any lower. That was kind of the clue that it might want to start trading upside, because it didn't give them a target down low for it to search for in terms of liquidity. Maybe we can trade up to PDL here. I don't know. It would have to turn on a giant squeeze if it's going to do that. Dips off VWAP holding there. Not really giving much relief here for buyers to try and participate in the next leg. But VWAP is holding. Coming into that first pivot, all right, 850. Remember, through that we can think about previous day low all the way up here. Amazon's gone green on the session. Remember, be careful chasing this. Be careful chasing this. Doesn't look like much, but this is a giant pump now. Well over 100 points from here, right? Well over 100 points. Trading into the edge of that liquidity now. ES looking very, very strong. SPY looking strong. ES almost at the back test of previous day low. Good work if you took this long. Just be proactive. Remember your counter trend. You are counter trend. Thank you, love. Yes, not quite taking PDL there. Coming back to VWAP now, waiting for some more liquidity to be built out now. We've had that squeeze out, leg one squeeze out, we just have to wait. Jeff Stewart, nice. Great work. Yeah, on a 1 minute, the flow zones are trying to go bullish down here. All right, for that turn on a 1 minute. There you go. They got that bullish signal. They're trying to go bullish down there. Question is that a squeeze out to go lower? Again, it hasn't taken out the liquidity above, making it very, very tricky today. Are we going to hold that whole number of 800 and the VWAP and around there? Or, you know, do we now start to go into sort of an initial balance rotation day? All these things are very, very much possible. Maybe a back test into 780-ish. And then needs to see if it's going to hold there or snap. And still just be a new bear flag to go lower or a head and shoulders. It's very, very hard as we build liquidity. It can do this. Otherwise, we're looking for this move here. So almost into 780 to the dot there. There's a bit lower to go, actually. You can go to... You just want to see it protect sort of 50, 60-ish. Too much lower than that, and it's you get a bear flag and a rotation lower. Remember, it's left liquidity both sides, which is not nice. It's left out that overnight low, hasn't taken that overnight low. It's left out the previous day low to go and back test it, and it's left out overnight high. So there's liquidity both sides for it to search for at the moment. And it can all happen very, very quickly, as we know in this market. ES can come and back test VWAP, and it's much, much lower. Remember, overall market's bearish. And the book looks thin now. Lower time frame, as in the M1 right now, it's trying to put in bullish structure, but we're inside of the initial balance. Higher time frame is still bearish. It's still bearish. There is liquidity still. Both sides, it can search both sides right now. There are targets both sides, so it's not exactly clear what it wants to aim for first. I would like to see dips of 780 hold if we're going to think about a squeeze back towards previous day low for that back test. If those can't hold, then possible IB rotation all the way back to the low, and that can happen in one candle. Who knows? There's a buy now, 775, 750. So those two levels I was talking about, he's just come onto the tape. That's really just classic S&R. ES heading all the way back to VWAP now. Oh, Jesus. A big weight session this weekend, and my wrist is seriously sore. So ES coming back for its VWAP test. Does it bounce off there, or does it just completely let go? Still underneath previous day low. We are still inside of the overnight range of London. We are still building liquidity. There's still liquidity both sides of the book for it to go and aim for in terms of higher time frame. Right, you have the overnight low and you have the previous day low each side of the book right now. Both potential low-hanging fruits. Which side does it go for first? Absolutely no idea. All right, absolutely no idea. Now buyers coming back on 750, 725, 700. Not what you want to see really if you're a bull. Why do I say that? Because that means they might want to be absorbed all the way down to 700. So if you're thinking about buying this, that's not what you want to see. You want to see them stack up right here, right now, not way, way lower. Yes, little bounce off VWAP, but nothing significant. No big squeeze back to high of day yet. Market's still very, very weak, remember. Market is very, very weak. We're right at point of control now on the session. Higher time frame point of control on an hourly chart. That's where we're at. Around those 780s. Can still very much be a bear flag on the hourly. We tested the low on the previous hour. We're into a new 4-hour candle, a new hourly candle, and we're inside of 1, 2, 3, well, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8-hour range. So really tricky here to have a good read on this. Bear flag came down this morning, created more stops at the lows, which we haven't swept, which is pretty ugly. There is potential for a squeeze out higher because we haven't gone and tested previous day low. We haven't come and tested overnight levels of London. So it's super, super tricky here on the session. Don't think this is easy. This is not easy. So that flag, they're trying to hold that flag into here. Classic S&R. They get a squeeze out here. We go for that test of previous day low. Watch your sizing. You have to watch your sizing. This is looking much, much better. ES off VWAP now. Watch your sizing, please, team. Do I shake weights? No, I went much heavier this weekend. And I wasn't wearing any wrist wraps or anything like that. And I'm weighing heavy at the moment as well. I'm up to, well, for me anyway, up to 216. And it's really the bench, I think, that's done me. I went a bit heavier on the bench, up towards like 280, 290 bench this weekend, and my wrist's feeling it. So just stuck at VWAP here on the Qs. Can they take out that high of day? Squeeze through high of day. Potentially then we're going to aim for previous day low and London high. And then if we really get going, Asia high, all the way back to 2100. It's asking a lot. It is asking a lot. Looking much, much better here. Love for it to just trade out towards the previous day low. Watching 5 minute, watching the 15 minute, watching the hourly. Beautiful. Need to see a new high here. I want to just rip through the current IB high. Trade straight through up to previous day low. That would be my first target here. Really nice. Can we get through this IB high now? For a break of the current day high, IB high. Beautiful. There we go. Now, I want to see continuation through here. Here's the squeeze. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we're looking for previous day low, remember. We're looking for a trade in towards 75. There is supply up here. Be proactive. Remember, everything we're taking here is counter trend. Be proactive. I continue to just trade one prop at a time at the moment until I feel confident that the fires are completely under control and that my power grid is not going to be shut off randomly. So locking in some there down to runners now. That green line above you, that's the real target. If we can get into that green line above you. All right, that's previous day low. If we go to the higher time frame stream, we have this London and then this Asia high. All right, that's where we know overnight short stops are. But you must respect this into previous day low here. All right, this is real good supply. All right, because this was more supply created back testing this. We kind of respect that. Well, we will respect that and expect it to reject. If we get through it and hold, then we go up to the next level. So it's sort of just trading it level by level for now. Remember, like I said, every long you take today is counter trend. Your higher time frame narrative is lower. But what we don't want to do is short the low of day. Remember, current session when we opened was extended into this demand pool outside the Bollinger Band. What we don't want to do is short there. Right, this is probably the worst short location you can have. I would rather it do this or this to short. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Location is important. Momentum was good to the downside this morning, but location was terrible. So small trade there, but locking in just under 500 there. We'll think about adding more if they're going to go for another move here. But what I don't like is we've cleared out. If we start failing under here and building liquidity here, then we have this move here open. How many got that long, or how many is still in it? Maybe some of you are still in that long. What I would say as well, by the way, ES has back tested the previous day low. So ES has done the move that we were looking for on the Q. So just be aware of that. Hopefully, drop me a W in chat if any of you got that long. It was tricky, it wasn't easy, but it paid the bills. W but stopped out, that's all right. Nice, Jeff. Nice array. Very nice work. All right, ES rejecting previous day low here. Kathy with the W, Aid with the W. Lots of you getting that long this morning. Good work. All we have to do was wait for the liquidity to be built. All right, buy signal here and here. We didn't quite make it, but ES has met this target. All right, so you have some divergence on the play where ES has back tested previous day low now. Chris with the win, Steve C with the win, Brian with the win. Good work, team. Good work, team. So liquidity stacking underneath now. 762, 750, 725. All 100 lots down there. They are not going to make this easy for us today, I promise you. With it being this extended to the downside, they're not going to make it easy for us. They will need to build out liquidity to get any further moves. I just think of this. If you're a short, high time frame short, you're comfortably in the money. You're probably short from, 21,700, you're holding positions. New money shorts will need to see classic S&R rejection, and they will be starting to take profits into key levels and then adding back on rejection points. They will not be adding at the lows. They will need intraday bulls trapped for them to get those moves lower. Coop, was that an Apex NTA error? Lots of people are having errors via TradeOvate data right now. So it might be due to that if it was. Rebooting Ninja won't fix it if that's what the error was. Yeah, lots of people having errors. Apex but rhythmic. I haven't heard about that, but worth checking. But yeah, I know they definitely have TradeOvate data issues right now over at Apex. So I'm not trading those today. I've just taken one trade there this morning, right? Just one trade. Locking it in on my one of my TraderFi accounts. Slow and steady. So back to POC here again. High time frame. Look what we're doing on the high time frame. This is your supply. All right. This is your point of control. It's where most of the volume's been built. We've tried to drive up and back test this. We've probably back tested this exact wick here we have. All right. So this is your overnight wick, I think. Now it's going to see if this fails, it's going to come down and retest the low. If the low fails, you either have a failed breakout and a trade back inside, or a continuation trade back down to the next level. Right? So those are the options right now. Remember, the higher time frame narrative is lower prices because we will follow higher time frame trend until it proves otherwise. What do I mean by that? If we go to higher time frame, this hourly breakdown, lower, lower, lower. Technically, we're expecting lower. We will stop expecting lower if it does this, and we think, okay, this liquidity here can get run, and then maybe we go lower. But classic breakdown here is your high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. You get the point. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So that's the higher time frame narrative. But what we don't want to do is be short down here. All right, where we like to short is in supply blocks above pivots for failed breaks around here as well. All right, this short last week was beautiful. We took this. Don't want to really short down here. The only way I'd short this is if we do this. So possible classic IB day as well here. Yes, back to VWAP. NQ through VWAP, QQQ at the VWAP, SPY coming into its VWAP. It's the difference between the 9:30 VWAP and the overnight VWAPs. And if we fail this, then potential for a rotation back towards low of day. Remember what we said. We did not sweep under here. Oh, let's get you on the right chart. Sorry, team. We did not sweep the overnight low. All right, here's your overnight low. We did not sweep it in this move. So it's left it here. And remember, we have some daily liquidity here. So it's possible it comes back for that and uses these stops, double bottom, to get down to here. It's possible. We did not back test this supply on NQ, but we did on ES. High time frame is bearish. Remember that higher time frame is bearish. Right? Cannot say that enough. If you're looking for those longs, like the long I took here this morning, this is a way harder trade than shorts present right now in this market because momentum is definitely to the downside on the higher time frame. It just felt like a clean and obvious long for me at that point. Dangling around VWAP. It's possible we build a sideways day. It's very possible that we just do something like this. It would be large range, but it's very possible because the daily chart probably needs it to allow that Bollinger Band to catch up. So here's the high time frame narrative coming back in, now selling through that New York Open. VWAP on the ES is failing. VWAP on the SPY is failing. VWAP on the QQQ is failing. So if they start to get heavy here, you can expect a rotation back towards the low of day, and a snap of that, you have a double bottom down there. That can be your liquidity run to go lower. So a snap of 690s basically can open the door for this move into 650s. This is where buyers stepped in on that first pullback. This is the imbalance from earlier, remember. So this is key level here. Watch your sizing, all right? Watch your sizing in this market. Cannot say it enough. You do not need a lot of size in this market. It will punish you if you oversize. If you have your stop too tight and you oversize, it's going to punish you. Dixie must have tested that 110 level. Let me have a look. It's getting real close. Real close. 110, 110.01. Possible breakout from there will send it higher. 110, 111, and 110, 178 on the Dixie. If they get going. Range on the session, 153 points. You're currently sat right in the middle of that 153 point. Slower day today on the markets for sure. Just letting it calm down. We had huge range overnight, huge move overnight. No need to force yourself on this market. If you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm here Monday to Friday from before market open, trading all the way into lunch. If you're new to the channel, there is tons of free education on my YouTube. Make your way through it. If you like what you see, you want to learn my system, my course, have my indicators, become part of my community in Discord, there is a link underneath to do the course, right? $645, $49. $649, one-time fee. And I'll see you in the room if you do that. 20-hour course, and you get these flow zones, which come for free with it, plus another indicator. And the Discord for life as well. All right, so trading back up towards the VWAP here. ES trying to soak and go back through its VWAP. There is some divergence starting to play out here in the session. We are at midpoint. I'm hands off right now. I'm not totally interested in this trade. For me, it's not clear and obvious what the market wants to do right now. Remember, to close the gap, it would need to trade all the way up to here. Long, long way away. We've got an anchored VWAP here. Previous day low, lots of supply to get through if it really, really wants to do that. And while it's left low-hanging fruits to the downside, it makes it very hard to come up with a thesis that we have any ability to do that. How we close today will be important. Can we get like a 2-day liquidity build after sweeping lows and staying at the lows, and do we get a reversal Wednesday, Thursday continuation, and see what we get Friday? A lot will depend on the news coming. A lot's going to depend on the news, which will come to the market tomorrow. So possibly a sweep there of this. holding this support here and this imbalance here. And then how we act here is going to be key. Can we trade through and go back upside? Possibly setting up a classic one of these as well. So again, when there's too many possibilities for me, again, look at the flow zones. They're flat. Look at VWAP. They're flat. I'm less interested. It's more likely to be building liquidity until proves otherwise right now. So I'm hands off. I'm sticking to my rules. When we had the flow zones printing very, very clear buy signals and we were in a breakout formation and we had a target here to aim for, made it much easier. Right now, can reject up here and roll over just as easy as it can squeeze out. I need edge in the market, which means I need to know which liquidity it's hunting for first. The best way of knowing that is when it's cleared out one level and is leaving one level left. So then we know, right, it's taken buyers out of the market, it's going to attack sellers, or vice versa. VIX getting close now. VIX into its deep pullback flow zone, looking like it might want to fill that gap, trading back towards previous day high and the old initial balance. So if it fails previous day high, then we get a full gap fill on the VIX. If it holds previous day high, maybe we get that return back upside towards 21. That return could give us a little leg down in the market. There's only one trade for me so far today. It was the long for the squeeze. And just staying put right now. Just waiting. Waiting for a high probability setup. My gut favors something down, return down here and a liquidation break here, but I don't trade my gut, as we all know. Definitely targets both sides it can aim for. Where is the entry for the buy diamond? That's just telling you when it goes into a buying signal. But you could have entered on this pullback here. Right? You could have taken these dips. You could have taken this flag. You could have waited for the next return in. Remember, resistance, RBS. Resistance becomes support. And you could have taken this flag here for this. But don't pay too much attention to these. They're like stabilizers on a bike. What you really want to do is once those are signaling, if you're not already in, you want to think about your next opportunity to buy. When you get this sell here, you don't necessarily need to sell here, but you're looking for bear flag breakdowns for your next opportunity to sell. Not necessarily the moment it fires. Hopefully that makes sense, Crawford. Yeah, John, that's what I think. My feeling is it's likely to retest the low and it's likely to extend it because we've got relative equal lows there. We've got London lows there and we've got a daily low beneath it. We've got a daily low all the way down here. So if you've got lots of stops here, if we run those and they are forced to sell, we can easily get down to something like that. That would be my gut instinct, but we're not in a setup for me right now. Trading midpoint of the range. Starting to reject though, isn't it? It's starting to look good for that move. But again, if you take this, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with taking this move here, especially once we got stuck. It's just not a setup that I want to take right now. Doesn't mean it's not a trade. I'm just trading my own book. I'm going to trade when I'm very, very confident in a setup. VIX is holding previous day low, previous day high though, and driving higher, which is great. So it looks good here for continuation, I would say. Just remember, buyers came in here. If you took this, protect some, and then hopefully you get down into this, and this should liquidate and give you a really big stop run. That would be the ideal circumstance for you. But remember, you're inside initial balance. You have 5 minutes left until the IB is set. Right, so your IB is just here to here today. If it's going to do an IB day, it might just do this. We don't know. That would be building out liquidity. SPY right at its VWAP now, just underneath it. ES comfortably underneath it. I'm watching the SPY here. QQQ well underneath it. Can I think about getting involved in this for liquidation? I'm gonna watch how it acts at IB. Remember, IB rules will apply in the next 4 minutes time. So head and shoulders or quasi looking good, looking like it's playing out here. You must protect into and around these levels, all right? And then your runners from here. Don't be adding short in here. If they do this, you're going to get in pain. So protect some of your profits. If it starts to break here, you should get a nice liquidation break. And then you can start taking partials through these levels. If it really snaps, if it really snaps, going to have to snap this daily level, we can get into these 500s. So if it's built out liquidity all morning for an hour to just come and get dunked on, we can go lower. But again, we are trading towards the lower part of the daily Bollinger Band now. I'm very cautious about that. It doesn't mean it can't extend it, all right? When we're really heavy in the market, when there's fear in the market, we can extend past those daily Bollinger Bands. We can always soak up later in the day. I'm just aware of location here. Think about how you look from this. All right, this would be your liquidation break under here. If it breaks, that's what you're watching. You've returned back into supply, you've rejected, you're coming back towards demand. If you snap it, you must take some profits if it snaps. If it snaps, because if smart money is going to soak underneath, you don't want to get run over. Doesn't mean take all your profit, it just means pay yourself a little bit, all right? Pay yourself a little bit. Watching the book, that buyer's back in at 700, 150 lots sat there. Not a whole lot underneath, but I am watching it. Sell it all the way at 900. Hilarious. The initial balance coming in, coming up to 90 seconds. A minute and a half or so, just over. Let's sort this out so you can see it. There we go. All right, so this bar will close and then you'll have 1 minute until the IB is set. Obviously, when you get that IB set, you're going to have a new 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute bar. Watch out if this IB starts to break, right? You need to be thinking about auctions lower and failed auctions. There is tons of liquidity lower to aim for. Remember, you've got your London low, the Globex low, sat there at 693. If that starts to break down, then you've got that daily level that I put in all the way down towards, where are you? 636. This probably needs to be a bit lower. I think this is more like here. If you get a failed auction of the IB low, be very careful. All right, too many shorts chasing and it doesn't give a continuation lower, you're going to be in trouble. So just make sure you're paying yourself, right? If you took that head and shoulder break, if you took the head, the top of the right shoulder, you're in from like the 800s. If you took the breakdown, you're in around the 80s. You're comfortably in the money right now, right? You're 60, 70 points in the money at least. So here's your IB. You'll see it start to print now on the screen. All right, so auction versus failed auction theory now matters. We know this is the area that buyers stepped in at around 9:40 this morning. If those buyers become sellers, that's when we get the liquidation break. If we're going to just hold the IB, we can return all the way back to VWAP, or at least to a 930 VWAP. Watching if and how it squeezes up and how far. Do those buyers hold and do they go all the way back up now? That's what I'm saying. You have to be careful. You cannot short those lows down there. You have to be selling into those moves. You don't sell into those moves, you can get stuck very, very quick. Initial balance has now been set on the day. ES now trading through its VWAP. Is this that push to fail, or is this the start of a bigger move higher where buyers have reabsorbed the same level? Very, very tricky. Like I said, it's not a trade that I love right now because there's liquidity sat both sides. But what I would say is ES did tag the previous day low already and rejected it. You kind of expect it to trade back downside here from a technical standpoint. But maybe if those buyers are like, yep, we're going to absorb that price, we don't need to steal any more liquidity, we're happy there, that could be enough for the session. But let's see. 700 still on the book, 139 lot. Down at the 700s. Watching this closely to maybe take a little short stab here. Need it to set up though. Not gonna just guess into this top, although I like the fib placement, I like the flow zones. Like how we came right into the 161. If it starts to form something like this and get stuck, then we can think about a trade back into here and hold runners. If it's going to reprice all the way into here, I'm not interested in the short at all. Yes, rejecting its VWAP. Buyer still on the tape at 700, still has a clear level of liquidity to add, to look to search for. Remember, if that snaps underneath the IB, then we go lower, possibly for an auction. If we hold this and start to pivot here for a new drive higher, I'd be very, very cautious about this squeezing all the way into VWAP here. Remember, flow zones are trying to go bearish, but they're still relatively flat on the session. I wouldn't say this is a trend session when you've stuck at the midpoint of the initial balance. Right, these are fairly flat. This is where traders lose. They try and buy here, they try and short here, and it chops in between and uses everyone's liquidity. Remember, we're already trading 250 points lower on the day. We're looking for continuation if it sets up, but if they're going to hold the initial balance low and they're going to rotate to VWAP, then really that's just telling you it's a classic range rotation day, in which case you should be playing the edges, buying the lows and selling the highs. Again, not trades that I love to do. I love trend trades. Anyone who was here last week, when we got those trend days, we had monster days together. Watching carefully here. Coop. Well, there you go, mate. Like, it's important to know your strengths, right? Range rotation days are tricky, especially when they're happily to rotate hundreds and hundreds of points. Yeah, I totally understand. Play your strengths. Play your strengths. Still got time. It's still got time for a break. You know, it's still got time for a breakout either side. But it's hinting towards range rotation if it's going to keep holding the IB levels. I mean, that was a pretty good reaction off that drive back down there, I'd say. This is a pretty good volume candle here, isn't it? Pretty good reaction. Really, they should be selling this back down. If they don't do that and they break this out, then I'm going to know range rotation and shorts probably got stuck yet again. We tagged into that 61 fib of the leg. We start driving through that and higher. We're going to go to view up. I'd say shorts are off the table at that point. There you go. So shorts probably got stuck there. We're into range rotation off the IB. It's why I kept saying to you guys, you must protect profits down here. All right, and then it's runners for these moves. Cannot be adding down here. This is demand, right? It's multi-time frame demand. That's why it's blue. That's why this box is blue. It's why this box and this box is red. Right? We like shorts up here if the momentum dies down and offers it. Like this maybe was a better one, which I didn't take. And we like longs down here if the setup is bullish. Look at this giant squeeze happening now. It's because shorts entered down here. They did not apply rules. They just slammed the lows and they got stuck. Flow zone's going flat again. So range rotation day pretty much confirmed unless we break out above this IB high now. Oh, don't want to do that. Unless we break out above the IB high and then maybe we squeeze up to here. And if we get through that, then we have some targets above we can aim for. We can aim for 21,000 if we get through this. Yeah, tricky day for those who trade trend. But we can easily identify it because it's past 10:30 and we're inside the initial balance. So we've identified we are in a range rotation. You see why I didn't like this so much now. It's not because this wasn't a good trade. This is a good trade. But when we're flat like this, and I know that there's a good chance we can soak off here, even though this offers good points, it's not something I like. That just comes from too many years of staring at the screen. So trade back to view up, ES through view up, SPY through view up, QQQ through view up. Very likely now if we get through this pivot, we head back to the IBH. So where is your classic trade, right? So IBH to view up, reject view up to IB low to view up. So either we return back here or we do this back to here. Range rotation. Understand the playbook. Make your life easier, right? If you don't like trading ranges, today probably isn't a day to trade right now. So possible squeeze out here back towards the high of day, the IBH. Rejection of view up here, probable back towards the IBL. This is just how range rotation works. Trading edges pays. I wouldn't be looking for a short back towards the IBH today now. That would be numerous times returning into that block. Right, that IBH is placed right beneath previous day low. We know supply is here and here. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 visits in. If we visit in again here, I wouldn't be thinking about shorting this for a range rotation back down. I think you're asking for trouble if you do that. Look at this print higher. Beautiful. Beautiful squeeze out here. So shorts trapped at the lows for now. Market going to try and revisit its high of day. It knows that short stops are up there. If it can peek through that, then maybe the Qs can get to the previous day low. ES has already been to previous day low once today, so I'm interested how it acts up here. We have sellers on the tape at 850 and at 900 on the NQ. If you're new to the stream, hopefully this is all making sense to you. Lots to learn. If you want to learn it in detail, there is a 20-hour course you can do on demand. Links down below, flowzonetrader.com, one-time fee. So do pullbacks. Does it even offer a pullback now? Feels like we're in squeeze mode because shorts are absolutely cooked off those lows. Needs a pullback, might not offer a pullback. ES back towards previous day low then. Remember, we're in range rotation, all right? The candles are large. The rotation can be really big. Just remember that we are in range rotation, maybe something like this. The whole reason we rotate range is to trap lower time frame buyers and sellers, right? Build their liquidity in the market so that the higher time frame buyers and sellers can use it. It's literally why the market does it. There is still a buyer on the book at 700, right? He's still sat there. There's a seller on the book at 900. They're stacking both sides. They're basically giving you a clue of where the edges of their ranges are today, where they would like to hold, where they would like to get filled. VIX right back to previous day high. Okay, it's right back to previous day high. If VIX fails under that, it has gap fill potential to previous day close, which will take it to 1950. If it does that, the market will squeeze higher. I'm thinking about a long here to see if we can get a trade up to previous day low here. Starting to join in here. Moving my stop in the money straight away because these are large ranges. I'm not going to let this absolutely smash me. Don't want it to roll all the way back to New York Open very quickly. All right, if a seller comes in here and does this, because we can still be bullish from there. So I know I'm buying fairly high. I'm looking for this move up here and then into that right now, because I think if we get here, we squeeze pretty violently. Been there many, many times today. Flag starting to play out now. So looking for a break of 43 to take us to 56. Looking for a break of 56 to take us to 75. Looking for that break to open the door straight to 900. Yeah, I don't like the short at IB high right now, Ryan. I don't love that short at IB high right now because we've been there many, many, many times, and there's some targets above, so it can rip through like 50 points through the IB high very, very quickly. So I'm not looking to fade this. Normally in this market, you would fade this once it sets up, but I'm not looking to do that right now. I'm actually looking to squeeze this out. We've got an old anchor view up here as well, and I know there's some sellers on the tape at 900. So I'm looking to see, can we get squeeze 1 and squeeze 2? Just runners anywhere up here, right? My entry is in this flag. I know I'm extended, so I'm being aggressive in my stop. If it stops me out in the money, that's absolutely fine because we can come right back down into here where the flow zones are and go again. Feel like we're just going to squeeze straight up here. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can we get through this IB high and attack now into the previous day low? Looking for that move into 75 if we would do it. So there's the IBH clear out. Remember, on runners only from here unless it sits above the IB and bases out. And then we're going to have trend day, potentially trend day. Possible gap fill if it really wants to get to 21K today, which would be amazing. Beautiful. Here we go. This is looking good. So those shorts being stuck are the fuel for us to go higher right now. So my targets here, moving to higher time frame. I'm watching these key levels. Where's my mouse? I'm watching if we can get into here. Right, we need to trade through these previous day lows for a squeeze up into here. Through that, we can attack the 21K. That doesn't mean I'm just blindly entering long, okay? I entered on that flag looking for this. So partials out into here. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Into previous day low here. All right, so next target now, if it's going to continue to squeeze, will be towards 915. 900, 915. All right, if we're going to get any ads here, it needs to really push through, come back and retest the IB high and show me that it wants to do a trend day higher. For maybe a gap fill, that would be great. Otherwise, any big notable failure here underneath IB high, I will not be holding the rest of my position. Remember, we are in from this flag right here. You're already up considerable points in this extension into here. So runners above here if it will allow it. Why the flag there, you might ask? There you go. That's why. Classic S&R. Look at this. This wick and these bodies absorbed. These sellers became buyers. Very, very simple. Beautiful, beautiful move. So please pay yourself a little bit of money here into previous day low. Please pay yourself a little bit of money here and then hold the runners. Didn't need to move that down. I even had you on the wrong chart, didn't I? Sorry. Why was I interested in that flag? Why was I buying that flag? These sellers became buyers. All right, that's their pain point. They're buying back the market. That's why we're squeezing up right now. So tapping previous day low there. So we had target 1. Now, how we act here is key into IBH. Are we going to absorb IBH for a trend day, or is that it now, right? Is the target the previous day low, and do we start to get a failed auction above and then a rotation back to VWAP? This is why you should be runners right now. Oh, I'm getting so much bleed. I didn't even see this. Sorry, guys. Window open. Seller at 900. Hopefully lots of you got this with me. You should still be in runners here. All right, you should still be in runners here until it proves otherwise. We would like it to base out at the IB high and the flow zones to catch up with it if we're going to have continuation higher for that gap fill, for the run of London and the gap fill. Just took a little patience today, didn't it? Can we get something like this, or maybe it needs to come and do like this for a move up here? That would be preferable. So far, it's not. It's held that IBH. That was a 1 minute test back to previous day low. Now, how are we going to act here? Remember, there's sellers at 900. There's 125 lot at 900. Be proactive. Don't be silly here, team. Pay yourself some money. Get in the habit of paying yourself, especially when it's not clear yet if we're going to do a full gap fill or if we're going to do a failed auction, come back inside and trade all the way back down to VWAP. Both of those are still very possible. Okay, both of those are still very, very possible. The longer we hang out here, if we can build out some bullish structure, it would be fantastic. If we just start to roll over, there's no way I'm going to add into it. Remember, there's still relative equal lows down here. All right, so if it does a failed auction, VWAP, boom. It's possible. This is range rotation in here. This is trend above. So we're in trend for now. But if we start failing, we go back into a range rotation environment. Stick to the rules. Ryan, I'm out now. I'm assuming it's a no ad zone. For the longs, it's an ad zone if it builds out the structure. If we're going to have a bullish day, it's an ad zone. It's not an ad zone yet. It will need to build out like a flag or something like this. And then we can take that trade for 900 and then all the way up here if it wants to do a gap fill. Otherwise, if it's going to fail, it's going to roll back down. So still just waiting. I was runner only. Hopefully you were long then and you locked some in. ES also back to its IBH here. So whole market moving in sync. Its IBH is basically its previous day low. So if it protects that, it can drive higher. Remember, above previous day low and above previous day close, any shorts who did not cover their position this morning, swing shorts from Friday, will then start to be underwater. You were long. Yeah, nice work, Ryan. Good trade. Good trade. So I'm still waiting here to see if we're going to build out any more position. You took view up to the lower day. Wasn't focused enough to catch along. That's all right. That's still a great trade. It's a great trade. You took this. Right, breakdown of here. View up towards lower day. Great trade. I called that and I didn't take it. It was a great trade. Probably one of the better trades today, to be honest. Very, very clean. So great work there, TR. You're not going to get every trade, right? You're never going to get every trade. So flow zone's starting to catch up now, like we talked about. Will the flow zones catch up and provide some level of support here for a trend higher? If we start to roll over, there's no way I'm going to be looking for dips if we start to roll over. Can very, very easily just do a failed rotation like this, all the way back down to view up now if it wants. So I'm taking my runner off here. There you go, just knocked out my runner. So locked in a little bit more then. Not a huge day, but a little bit more. Like we said, this can be a failed auction trade. You have to be careful. Understand market conditions. It was all time frames were red, but had to be quick getting out. Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, the pro trend is lower. It is lower, so it made sense for you to take shorts today. But that location at the lower day was very, very tough, wasn't it? If you didn't react down there quick enough, you got absolutely smoked. So coming back to that view up now. All right, so a failed auction. It failed to print so far and hold the initial balance. ES trading back inside as well. What I would say is there's some classic S&R setups coming up on ES. I would say how it acts into around 38 will be key. And then view up if not. Back inside the range, right? So you shouldn't be looking for dips here long. I would argue that this is a classic S&R setup if it wants to hold it. But the fact that we just failed the auction above is a little bit concerning to be looking for dips down there. What you can do is you can wait, right? Like we talked about, one of the things will be this kind of move here. You can wait, let everyone else absorb it, let shorts force themselves in. And if it gets up here, we can think about the long again. What you don't want to do is dip, 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 blow up, right? Don't get in that habit. Inside initial balance, it can puke, right? Like we said, it can puke through here. If it comes back down here, you now have, how many times have you been down here? 3. These guys, these guys, these guys can all get liquidated if we come down here. So don't be early to the party. All right, if it's going to set up a long, it's going to be clear and obvious because it's going to be back above the IBH. I'm flat right now. Like I said, I was down to runners. I probably could have locked in a bit more, but is what it is. So that seller at 20,900 didn't quite get filled. He's still there, 123 lot. The buyer at 700 just pulled his order again. So he's having fun and games down there. That guy's spoofing all morning, in and out, in and out, in and out. This is basically the pre-market high on the QQQ that we're trading into right now. It's got a little way lower to go if it wants to come into that pre-market high on the SPY. that might be it for me. How long we got left? We've got an hour left. Oh, plenty of time, to be honest. But I feel like the easy trade there back to squeeze back to previous day low has gone. I said, still got those bottoms at the low of day. Great work, Steve. Yeah, it just shows you don't need size, right? Another close to 4K day trading M&Q. Great work. You don't need size. You just need rules. You can use more size when you've got either bigger accounts and you feel confident, or when the range starts to and the ATR starts to calm down a bit. ATR a little bit more controllable today, I will say. Like, what, 170 point day so far or something? 5 lots, yeah, that's all you need. It's all you need, and you can add into your winners when you're comfortably in the green and you think there's still liquidity to search for. Back to VWAP here on the NQ. ES nowhere near it. SPY nowhere near it. Previous day low getting rejected though. So they're looking for trend continuation versus previous day low. When I say they, the shorts are looking for trend continuation versus previous day low here. Higher time frame in a liquidity build. Lower time frame starting to go bearish underneath here. We'll go bullish above here, back for liquidity build, and then expansion type move if it can do it. It's a big if right now. Pretty flat on a 2-minute here. So if any of you got that long for that squeeze up with me, who got this long here? Did anyone get this long here? Hit me in chat with a W if you took that long with me. Back to range rotation now. Failed auction of the IBH. Back to VWAP. Does VWAP let go and rotate all the way back down to the IBL? Glenn got it, Jeff got it, Minix, Crawford. Nice. That's for you grabbing that long with me. Back to the low time frame algo here. If we start to fail here, there is possible rotation. What I'd be cautious of is this level right here from an S&R standpoint. But like I said, there are lots and lots of stops down here. They've been building stops there all day. If the aim was to backtest this, to go here, and now they can send it lower, then they've done obligation 1, which was the backtest. Was AFK, no worries. Alright, plenty more setups coming. Plenty more setups coming. How many have we had on stream now? Is it two or 3 trades today? I can't remember. I think I've taken 2. Some of you guys probably taken 3 because you took the took this short that I didn't take, but we talked about on that sell. 50% fail, low, and then proactive at the lows. Into a little bit of no man's land here. 50% pullback from the high of day, from the last leg. Oh yeah, so Crawford, you're having the trade of Apex issues. Yeah, it's a real shame that, isn't it? Real shame that. So trying to hold that lower time frame algo on that 50% pullback. Remember, if it gets back up here, we can think about continuation. If it fails this supply, then a retest of this level. If it fails this break structure, retest of the low. Definitely not going to be looking for longs right now. Right? I want to buy into strength if shorts are trapped. I'm not buying dips on a day where we're multi-time frame bearish and in a range rotation. I'm definitely not interested in buying dips here in the middle of the range. There's an easy way to get absolutely wrecked. Even if it works out, I'm not going to develop the bad habits of buying the dips. I'm going to wait for it to create some structure here. If it's going to put in some bullish structure to go up, can think about adding up here, can think about this move maybe, but I'm not just going to buy dips and hope. H1 is looking interesting here. Right? H1 is an interesting chart today. Value area low, failed below it 1, 2, 3 times. Coming back through point of control, testing what? Testing supply. Should probably just draw that in on here so it's nice and clean. Tap supply, rejected, back towards point of control. New hour candle right now, 2 minutes into the new hourly candle. Big wicks both sides. Look at the indecision. Can we get through supply? No. Can we get through intraday demand? No. H1 telling you it needs to build liquidity. It's either going to build liquidity for a continuation lower, or it's going to reclaim this level for a squeeze out, right? Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. There are two options here on the H1 for it to do. There are two options on most of the time frames right now. It's not super clear, but the pro trend is still lower. Alex, I still haven't solved issues with my stop loss and order limits. I was speaking with someone at Tradeify via email, but they stopped responding. Do you know if there's a number? I don't know if there's a number. That's bizarre. Hit me up on Discord with what's happened and what's been told, mate, and I'll reach out to Brett because I know Brett personally. All right, cool. Yeah, or maybe post it in the new trader questions tab in the Discord, mate, because some other guys might know how to fix it as well if I'm not there. Probably even better to do that. Right, bear with me, team, because I just had a fire update come in. So let me just check this. Building out liquidity here, midpoint of the range. Higher time frame trend says lower. Lower time frame just chopping around right now. Ramus, 8K on M&Q, started early in the pre-market, amazing day. Done for the day. Great work, Ramus. That's fantastic work. No worries, Ryan. Have a good training session. I know you've got a fight coming up. Have a good session. So looking like it's trying to break lower here, right? It's trying to get stuck at these flow zones. The retest of this low, if we're going to go from a failed auction, VU up, if we're going to fail VU up, IBL. All right, classic range rotation day. ES not at VU up yet. All right, ES is not underneath VU up yet. No worries, Crawford. Have a great day. 7 more likes on stream, so we need 7 more likes on the stream. Get us to 50. Slowly growing this stream again in 2025. So through VWAP now on the ES. That high time frame narrative looks like it's starting to play out. Very similar to, if we come to this IBL, very, very similar to the IBH. I wouldn't be wanting to buy this IBL now, all right, because we built so many stops here. 1, 2, 3 lots of stops. So I wouldn't be really interested in buying this for a range rotation up unless it was really, really clear, maybe here. Feeling as if it comes down there, now we raid them to go lower. Same way as we just raided them at the highs. Right, we'd come up 1, 2, 3, 4, raided them, then failed. Feels very similar to maybe expand that lower edge of the range, unless it proves otherwise. Unless it proves otherwise, of course. Charts dictate what we're going to do. But like I said, you can't just be buying dips. I've been saying it. You cannot be buying dips here. It would need to be putting in a bullish pattern. I said I would rather buy up here and let it do something like this and know that shorts are stuck. Right now, longs are stuck. Breakout longs are stuck. Going back to IBL, we got stuck at VWAP, IBL, VWAP, IBL. So IB high to VWAP, VWAP to IBL, IB low to VWAP, VWAP to IB high. Learn the difference between your trending days and your range rotation days. It will save you a lot of money in the market. If you don't understand, just do the course. Honestly, guys, the amount of traders that I see here are willing to spend thousands and thousands learning the hard way by guessing the market and won't spend a small amount of money on a course and education is wild. Must understand market conditions. Trading into this small liquidity pool that we built here. This was your first pullback for here. So we know buyers are here. Failure of that, IBL. Failure of this, lower prices. We are in a liquidity building day. 100% we're in a liquidity building day because we are inside the initial balance. Expect some chop until that starts to expand outside the initial balance. You're only, what, 50 minutes from lunch now? ES back to its or SPY back to its pre-market highs. Treasuries continuing upside, right? 0.5% up or 0.6% up on the day now. Dixie over that 110 mark. All these narratives for lower prices in general for macro events playing out. We talked about this last year. From September onwards, I talked about this playing out. The market was in a giant squeeze, but every other indicator was saying that we were going to have sell pressure coming in the market. The treasuries, the Dixie, all clear indicators. Bitcoin today as well, getting absolutely slammed. ES back at VWAP, SPY back at VWAP. It's looking for a bounce off the VWAP. You have to be very, very careful. Range in this market is very, very big. Do they sell pops now for a retest of the lows? That's the question. Do they sell pops for retesting of the lows? How do we act here? Do we even get that far? This is your first rejection. And can we come into this pull down here? Looking good for that move into that pull down there. Looking for this bear flag and breakdown. If it will give it. Very, very slight on size here. Have to be careful because I'm short near low of day. Scalping some out there. I need to see a break right here, right now. Needs to break under 57. Watching liquidity on the tape. Taking some off there. Happy to take break even here if I need. Location not ideal here, but I was looking for that liquidity run if ES will let go of its view up and trap these buyers in. Trying to soak. Taking that off. Tiny, tiny win. I'm just going to wait. One more drive up maybe first. Biggest order on the book now, all the way up at 875, 140 lot up there. Come on, I need to squeeze up here first. If they dump this after me taking it off, that will be frustrating. Watching ES at VWAP. SPY, crucially, it is above its VWAP. It's holding here. And it is at a key level from pre-market on the SPY. All right, so if it's going to base, it needs to base here. If it's going to let go, maybe we get a channel rotation. Yo, Activate, what's happening, man? You good? Myron, do you wait to break the IB low and retest before looking for shorts? You can do, yeah. Or you can try it. What I would have liked is one more little squeeze up here, but I'm looking for trend continuation for down to here and then to cover. And then if it does this, I can add on. Looking good now. Very possible that we just go into a range rotation day as well. So how we act at IBL will be key. How we act at the initial balance low will be key. I shouldn't have taken that off. Oh, idiot. What an idiot. What an idiot. It was building out nice. This rejection was key for me. I should have just held on to some more size as we dangled at that New York open. All right, so New York now red on the day. On the session, I mean, obviously red on the day, but red on the session for New York underneath here. Sensitive area though, for sure. Nice, good, great work, Activate. So just be aware. I'm assuming, yeah, you did say Apex. Just be careful. Trader 8 not working for them today, or at least most people have been struggling. When I'm linking all my accounts together, just 500 a day is all I need. And I'm linking my accounts together, but it really depends what I'm trading. I trade my accounts slightly different. Apex, I have to scalp. You have to scalp more on Apex because you have to be aware of the trading drawdown. Tradeify can just hold them lots more as long as I'm consistent with the 20% rule. Is what for QQQ? Sorry, Zayad. What's the question about QQQ? I probably said something and forgotten what I already said. Currently, I have 550Ks with Apex, 7 with Tradeify, and I have some others, which I'm not going to say the firm yet because I want to make sure that they pay out before I even talk about them. Yeah, on NQ. So the spiders, SPY trying to hold its VWAP. It's a key level from pre-market on the SPY, on the ETF. Q's much weaker because tech's been heavy today. Buyer coming in the tape there at 750, 150 lot sat there. 725 back on the tape as well, 120 lot down there. It's the same areas as it was area. Why can't I talk? Same areas as they were earlier, all right? 750, 725. Those are the areas that they've been reloading the buys at, or maybe their covers, same. Those are definitely the areas. Starting to build up more liquidity here yet again. Remember, your midpoint on the session on the ES, you're not on the NQ, you're slightly weaker. Flow zone starting to try and point down, but we are definitely in a range rotation day. Not much to do here. Got to wait it out. If it goes without me now, it goes without me. Looking good for that breakdown, I think. Feel like it's looking good for a breakdown back towards the IBL. I'm just watching ES very, very closely here. Here we go. All right. Small position in here, just in case it snaps aggressively. I'm going to be very, very careful here. Watching ES very, very carefully. Good refresh seller there on that last pop. Feeling better about a move back down towards 700 again. Watching 725, there's a buyer down there. This liquidity built out nicely. Trap the buyers, use them. Can we come down here? Remember, there's an imbalance here. We know buyers have been here and here for the day. If we run these guys here, you probably get a liquidation event of their stops. That would be dream boat scenario. I'm being very proactive because I know we are in range rotation. If for some reason shorts get stuck here, we can get a very quick squeeze up here. So I'm being very, very proactive. QQQ, yeah. QQQ is the ETF for Nasdaq. Same moves, it's just an ETF. All right. The reason I watch it is for the cash gaps. So I know where New York traders are participating. It's just very easy to read. You can see the gap fills and the lows and the highs of pre-market very, very easily. Do I have both the ES and NQ open? Yeah, I have both open. All right, so this chart, I have the chart that you're looking at, and a 5 minute, then a 1 hour, and then a daily, all on the same chart on the same screen here. Then here I have a line chart on the NQ and a 15 minute on the NQ and my executions. And then over here, I'm watching the ES, the SPY, the QQQ, and the VIX. Really feels like a snap is coming soon here. Remember, the higher time frame says lower. You must be proactive, guys, all right? You must be proactive. And don't short the low of day. Even though I think if we get there, we get a liquidation event, don't just be blindly shorting it. Best wife ever. Just got me coffee this morning. Now I've got my oats for the day. Don't know where I'd be without her. Every good man needs a good woman. Not even sure I'm a good man, but definitely got a good woman. We're stuck beneath New York Open, you'll notice. We keep rejecting New York Open. Still think I want to see a liquidation event of the IBL and a run of the stops. Good here. Like I said, I feel like a snap's coming. Here we go. 45s. Watching 25 on the tape. ES coming towards its uptrend on the session. So if they start letting go of this uptrend, I'm looking at a 5 and 10 minute. Then maybe we get a rollover. My stop's now in the money. Al Sam Jr., I've been short in this move, right? I was long this morning. I'm trying to think where I was long on stream. I think we were long here, maybe. It was either this one or this one. And then we were long. No, here. We were long here versus this for this squeeze out. Now we're in a failed auction. So you should be thinking about, can it rotate back down to the IBL? If it liquidates the IBL, we get a quick stop run. And then if we hold this, though, you need to be careful. There's like a trend like this on the session right now. This is your trend. So coming into this, oh, why is it still drawing? We're coming into the lower trend line. That's odd. Get rid of everything for you. Wow, this shouldn't be here. This is weird. If you just zoom out and think about, let's do a parallel channel. Where's my parallel channel? All right, here. This is basically your morning session. That's what you're looking at. "35 minutes till lunch." What's up, Bruce? Hope you're good. No worries, Zayed. ES reclaiming its VWAP then. Back. It's at that pre-market level, which is absolutely key. SPY the same. I pop through this and I will stop out. Through 80s, I'll stop out. Tiny size, I've locked some in already. Then I can always think about reattacking if I think it's going to roll over later. Okay, made my most. I really can't talk. It's wild today. Can't get my words out. It's probably stress build-up from lack of sleep from the fires the last week or so. But if it pops through, the runner would be off. And I'll just wait and reattack it if it sets up. Yeah, I'm in LA, exactly. I had friends staying with me last week. They've gone back to their homes now. Monitoring it, but it looks pretty good. I had a quick look this morning. Looks like they've got it under control. But obviously, the winds are going to pick up today. Tomorrow, we go back to 65. Or is it tomorrow or Wednesday, 65 mile per hour winds. So watching out for that. Good flow zone rejection there. Can we liquidate these lows? That's a question. And that buyer at 725 just pulled his order. He's left the book. I'm watching him carefully. We talked about him earlier. He's been spoofing a little bit today. I'm wondering if he's just a short position looking to cover, and now he's thinking it's going to go lower rather than genuine buyer, but we will find out. Yeah, for sure, Tilt. It happens, though. I'm just very thankful I'm one of the lucky ones, to be honest. Very, very lucky. I have a number of friends who have lost absolutely everything. One of them a homeowner, unfortunately. Most of them are renters, but one of them a homeowner in Palisades with a husband and 2 girls. So there's the drive. ES trying to hold its VWAP. SPY holding its VWAP. Is it going to do a first bounce? Is it going to hold this channel that it's trying to build out? Or are we going to get that failure, liquidation event back to IBL? Remember, we're trading really midpoint of session right now. It's not ideal location, I'm going to be honest. Momentum, remember, says lower. Multi-time frame momentum says lower. Look at the top right of the chart. Lower time frame, bearish. Higher time frame, bearish. Three minutes until we get a new 5-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute bar. We're now really just trading around point of control. We're under point of control. Point of control is at 77s. But we're really basically just there. It's where all the volume has been built up on the day. I'm going to be right back, team. Bear with me. Be safe, be smart. Don't be adding into anything too aggressively. There we go. Market just cooled right off. It's cooled right off. It's just dangling at VWAP on the SPY and the ES here. Let's go back over to the Mag 7. Tesla, 1.6% down. Nvidia, 3% down. Meta, just under 2% down. Google, 1.5% down. Amazon, 0.8% down. That almost went red to green and now back to almost 1% down. Microsoft 1.25% down and Apple 2.6% down on the day. All right, Mag 7 getting slapped. Absolutely slapped. VIX still holding previous day high. All right, there was a small dip underneath previous day high. It's tested support so far, it's holding. So if it's going to curl and go back to its daily highs on the VIX, the market's going to sell. If VIX is going to let go of previous day high and that pivot at 20, then it can go for a gap fill lower. If we go for a gap fill lower on the VIX, then we're going to get some relief and a short squeeze rally on the markets. Just dripping down here, though, on the markets. That short thesis is what I really have. ES now coming to test its channel uptrend. So the equivalent of this lower channel blue line that we're looking at right here. All right, the ES is right on it now. All right, so getting a little reaction off it. move this to a 2 minute because it's starting to get a little bit choppy here. So let's just clean it up. I move this higher. I'm getting lazy in my chair, man. Very lazy in the chair. That's better, isn't it? Straighten my back out. One side will get stuck here eventually. Definitely one side's going to get stuck here. Building out lots of liquidity over the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, let's just count from here, shall we? It's probably a bit easier. In the last 25 minutes. It's days like this that I wish I had music playing, but I don't want to irritate you all. I get so bored with it being quiet. So bored. But from a model perspective, those who have done the course are in the room. This is a nice model day on Monday. Let's see what we get Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I think we're going to have a very, very nice weekly model this week. Those of you who are in the Discord, go and check out what I said last night, what I'd be looking for. This is the first day of one of those setups. If we get the second day tomorrow, then I feel pretty good about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Quick look at FinViz for you all. Shorten this out. All right, you'll see the rotation. Can you guess I bought an Amiga? Like, just flashing adverts everywhere. Cookies are so annoying. All right, technology, all red. Finance, mixed bag. Communication services, pretty red. Consumer, red across the board. Healthcare, looking a little bit better. Other than Lilly, the rest of the healthcare is pretty good. Real estate, energy is very, very green. Basics are green, utilities red, industrials mixed bag. So tech is the market leader to the downside right now. Like, look at the Mag 7. The biggest red names on the day are Apple and Nvidia. About to stop out of the runner here, which is fine. Already locked in money on this trade. You have to, crazy to see the size. That low wick was 45. We're trading back up towards 80 already. They're big, big moves. These are big, big moves. They look tiny, but they're not. They are big, big moves. I know some of you have completed the course and emailed me. Don't worry. Don't worry. And I will be sending you the sorry, my brain's all over the place. I'll be sending you your certificates later in the day. Everyone who completed the course over the weekend and emailed me. About to stop out here then. One tiny little more shove and my tiny little micro's gone. There we go. It's off. So locked in some more there. So now up just under 1,000 on the day. $915 on the day. I said one side will probably lose here as it started to go sideways and build. So it may be a raid to go lower. I don't know. But I'm less interested in the trade in general now as we just build out sideways. We pull some of this down a bit, maybe. It's a bit better. Hopefully, lots of you green already today. We had some beautiful trades earlier in the day, both directions. Both directions. Gut still says we build out liquidity here for a retest of the lows, but if too many shorts attack this and are not being good with taking profits off the table, and we start to curl and attack with ES and SPY holding pre-market levels holding the VWAP, still a chance for a squeeze out. Always a chance for a squeeze out in days like this. You can have a look at the structure. Make sure you can see that. All right, this is 5-minute structure. So we're protecting so far these lows. All right, we're protecting these lows. And supply is here. And we can think about this fib. If they were going to do a first bounce short, you'd be looking for a bearish pattern in here now. Be careful because it's taken out this pivot. A bearish pattern somewhere around here for a roll would be good. Reclaim of this and a dip and hold. Shorts would get restuck and then we go back to highs. Always two options available. You have to be aware of both, especially in a range rotation environment. I'm going to get rid of this supply block. Been in that too many times. It's not important now. Hole number 800 and the VWAP. That last push looked like it. So we just talked about that push up to 50% or higher, just shy of 50% there. If they do not hold these dips here, that will be a bull trap, squeeze out. Bull's trapped here. If they roll this back under and do this, then they use these stops to get to these stops to get to these stops, and the IB low to get to here. That might have just been it. That might have just been the move. Oh. Yeah, made my money for the day. Just watching, commentating for you guys now until something very, very clear and obvious. But that last push up, very, very key, I would say. Very, very key. Slowing right down here. Still would love to see this retest the lows. I really would love to see this fail and retest the lows here, but market is just in sort of a choppy zone. It's not really sure. Feels like it's just got to build liquidity intraday now to go and attack anything else. And when we're at the midpoint of the session, trading at VWAPs, trading at key levels, I become less interested. Activate, push up. I mean, maybe. I'm not convinced. I'm definitely not going to play long here for the push-up, that's for sure. I'd rather wait for it and let it prove it to me. The fact that it just failed there says to me that it was a bit of a bull trap and weakness might come back into the market. Over what time frame, FPS Smithy? I think we can go and raid the daily stops. Doesn't have to be today, but I think that sort of 640 level is key, and how we react there is key. The problem is, from a daily point of view, we're right at that Bollinger Band on the daily, which is 2 standard deviations lower. So I'd say a break of like sort of 640-ish. There are a ton of stops down at 250. not saying for today, I'm just saying in general in the market where they are. This is just intraday liquidity now. I really don't want to play this. I want to see how we act at external levels, not at stuff that we've built in New York. This is range rotation. This is a failure, and anything down here might be a failure unless it proves to go lower. So I'm not going to trade midpoint of the range. This is a very easy way to get absolutely wrecked. I had one go here for it to go low. I took partials and then stops and then made my money, and it is what it is. Just waiting now. Yeah, exactly. Don't diddle in the middle. Exactly that. And if you look like at ES, if I put ES into like a 5 minute, it's holding this perfectly. If it starts to sell up here and break this down neckline, then we're going to go for this again. There is a gap fill potential to this white line. That's previous day close. So I'm watching that on my left screen here. So until something's really, really clear and obvious, I'm really less interested in executing. $694. Yeah, you're just talking about the, I mean, there's no way I'm shorting down here. You're probably right, because it's built up a lot of liquidity. Really, I'd want to have a position so that I can trade into that level, take a partial, and either it retests, or if it doesn't, we get that raid straight down into the daily level underneath. What I don't want to do is short under the IBL for that liquidation break if smart money does this. Very possible. Very possible. I want to be short way before we get there so that my RR, for example, where's... All right, let's say a short sets up here. I want to have it so that I've got good RR into this and runners beyond it. What I don't want to do is get short down here and have to risk, I don't know, some pivot up here, hoping it gets down here. I don't want a one-to-one at a lower day. It's easy to get wrecked. Still driving up. There is an imbalance here where we broke down from IB. I really don't, genuinely, I don't know what the market wants to do. Does it want to come up here and roll, or is it looking to build up here to come up here? I don't know, so I'm just going to wait. And honestly, I'm probably, unless it does it soon, there's only 15 minutes left into lunch. I'm probably lacking a trade idea here. You can argue low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You can certainly argue that right now on the New York session. Yeah, Smithy, that's exactly what I was hoping for. A raid of it first before we go upside. I don't like it where they leave external liquidity both sides, because it then becomes less clear and obvious what the new target is. Nice one, Coop. Yeah, you too, mate. Good work. But yeah, like we say, this is chop range. Right? It's why we have these rules. No trades are trending trades inside of here. They're liquidity building trades. Liquidity above, not a lot, but there's a seller in front of 840 there, or 835, 82 lot. Small seller at 850. That 900 lot seller is still up there, 140 lot in front of 900. Nice, Tyson. Good work. So any questions you want to ask before I leave, team? Anything you want to ask before I sign off for the day? Only like 15 minutes or so left of this session. My gut says lower, but cannot trade gut. I keep saying it. You cannot trade your gut instinct. Yeah, Redline, everyone from my side's okay. Thank you. Been a pretty dark few days, but we're safe. We're very lucky to be safe. I moved here 1 week before COVID, so 5 years now. So what time to move here? I've experienced. I feel like the craziest few 5 years America's seen in a while. Whether that be COVID, elections, or at least for me, the fires here. See, not for everyone. I was in London. So back to view up here. Are they going to let this go? Yeah, I am. I'm not too far. So I've been watching it very, very carefully. And some of you have seen, I was touch and go whether I streamed last week. I had friends that had to leave Laurel Canyon and a few others to come and stay with us. I've got friends who have evacuated and currently in Palm Springs. We were close to doing it, but the smoke's been okay. As of yesterday, since the winds came back in, it's a bit easier to breathe outside again now, which is great. So yeah, we've been very, very, very lucky. Oh, so you're in the UK, Smithy. Whereabouts are you in the UK? Yeah, lots of my friends not enjoying it right now in there. I see Ant Middleton the other day saying he wants to be London Mayor, which did make me laugh. I do like Ant, but I think that's a stretch. That is a stretch. So potential bull flag and squeeze here. They're holding these levels. So shorts got trapped here. Squeeze up, break, retest, held, back upside. Now they're trying to see if they can get that rotation higher. Again, I'm not trading this. You are midpoint on the session. You're 10 minutes into lunch. I think there's a lack of edge for these plays right now. Doesn't mean it can't do it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't trade it. There is a buy signal there right here. If I go to a 1 minute, you can see there is a buy signal here, but it's not a trade that I love or like right now, particularly in the midpoint of initial balance. Even though there's a good chance to reprice, at least to raid these stops at 33s. And above that, you do have some guys there trying to sell in front of 40. You're near Leeds. I didn't get citizenship. I've got a green card, but I had a what's called a P1 visa before I came. I was an artist. My wife was on an O1 visa for work here, and then we converted to green cards probably two years ago now or something. 1.5, 2 years ago. Yeah, I know Leeds well. Well, say well. I used to go up there quite a lot for work. I used to DJ at Mint Warehouse and where else? Mission, I think it was. I think there's some others way back in the day. Ty Daniel, no, this is not a public indicator. This is my flow zones. So my students get these for free. When you do the course, links down below. It's a one-time fee. When you do the course, you get these indicators and all updates I ever do completely for free. And you also get Discord membership for life. All in one bundle, $649. Both shut now, really? Yeah, I mean, it's a long time since I was doing that. I used to DJ there a lot. A lot back in the day. It was good fun. Leeds was good fun. And it's still trying to build out potential flag here versus this imbalance. But if this fails, that's what you're looking at. That's why I'm not interested particularly in the longs here. Don't trust it one bit. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting that American accent. I've had to change a few things I say because people don't understand me. Those of you who have been on stream long enough will already know. Like I say things like jumper. They don't know what a jumper is. They call it a pullover or a sweater. When I say put it in the bin, no one knows what I'm talking about. Pavement, they don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm never losing this accent. No chance. Zero chance I do that. All right, back to VWAP here yet again on the ES. Do they soak it one more time, or is this the start of them letting it go? Could get nasty here if they really start to let this go. Built out a lot of liquidity here to go and raid. Nice one, Aid. Yeah, see you tomorrow, mate. Good work. So ES, SPY, back to VWAP, back to those pre-market high levels on the SPY. If they start to let this go, remember you've got that trend that we did earlier in the day, or for you it'd be that way. Yeah, that trend. If they start to let it go, this kind of thing here, and then this kind of thing here. If they raid this, raid this, raid this. And that's what I'd be thinking about if they start to let it go. You're 5 minutes into lunch. Like think about the time of day that you want to execute in. Rarely do I like trading over lunch. There was last week, there was one day, I can't remember what day, we were on stream all the way up to lunch, and I left the screens. I literally think I went and got coffee and came back. The stream was finished and they dumped it like 100 points. So sometimes they do it. Normally I don't like trading over the lunch period. There you go. Are they going to snap this now to the lows? Back to the support they built out earlier. But if they fail this and they raid these guys, they can get to low of day very, very quickly. Watch out below. Watch out below. Joining this. Joining this now. Taking some profits here as we start to raid all that liquidity. All these stops here, I'm starting to take profits into these moves, looking for a dump through 45s now, and that will open the door for a dump to the low of day. Like I said, I wasn't interested in the long. Thesis is higher time frame wants to move lower. We break down from this. If we raid these guys here, we can get down here real quick. Beautiful, Tyson. Lovely work. Yeah, expect a bounce here, and then do they come and refresh sell this for an absolute dumperooski? ES now breaking down from that uptrend that we drew. That big channel that we had drawn out, it's starting to break down from it. Said, watch out below. If they let this go, it can happen very, very quick. Here we go. So looking for that raid of 43. 50 key here, psychological level. Looking for a raid of 43. A dump through that back to the initial balance low. Didn't think I'd get this trade into lunch, but we're getting it. So it's coming very close to that 43s now. Looking to take some profit into around 43. And then hold for that low of day. There you go. There's 43. So taking a partial into that, pay yourself some money. Remember, this is a pretty big move of this snap here. We'd expect a pullback and then a fade ideally. But if everyone's trapped in here and they all become sellers, we'll just go deeper very, very quickly. So runners only. Remember time of day as well. Lunch starting in 2 minutes or just over 2 minutes. All right, hopefully some of you caught that with me. Sorry, you had to be very, very quick there. Smithy, I just day trade futures. It's all I day trade, NQ, but I do invest. Mainly in ETFs, though. I used to trade small caps. That was where I cut my teeth. So back into this higher time frame demand level then. So everything we talked about playing out. They are likely to want to raid these stops now. Remember, underneath IBL, you have that London low. London low will be the final target, 695. Everything under there is a bonus because we're going to go to daily levels of sort of 645, this orange line. So a liquidation of this might open this up very, very quickly. Reprice this whole move into here now, all the way back to that 1030 pivot. So do they fade the next pop? That's the question. You can think about fibs for the move up. You can think about that New York Open. You can think about your flow zones. Do they even let it pop? Or are these bulls so trapped now, they're going to get no relief and they get absolutely smoked, which is what is happening so far. Beautiful move. Okay, back to this. Remember what we were saying about this? Look at that move. 50% slammed back down towards the lows. So new hourly candle here. Remember, new hourly candle. Be careful. Be smart. Nothing silly. Your runners are looking very, very good here. No relief for these buyers. They're well and truly stuck. New low there for this current leg I'm talking about, not on the session. Remember, we're looking for that move back to the IB low. If the IB low snaps, we're looking for a raid of the London low. If the London low snaps, we're looking for a move into this orange line, which is a daily wick. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to trade with you in lunch all the time. I think that this has the possibility of playing out. This is basically a quasi here. These are our targets. TP1, TP2, TP3, London's around here, TP4, TP5. That's what we're looking for. Respect the IBL. Make sure you're being proactive into this. Don't be greedy. Right, this is a big move already. Don't be greedy. London low, remember, right here. That's what we're looking for, 695. Haven't had a pullback for a little while now. Almost 20 minutes without a pullback. So expect some relief at some point. Nice, Tyson. 75 points. Good work, my friend. So are they going to reject these levels here where buyers were? Right? Do they reject this to go lower, or are we going to go back to IB and all the way back to VWAP again? Or are we just going to chop around all day long? Very, very possible. That's where I'm saying runners, be proactive. Take your runners. Don't be greedy. Nice relief here into lunch. You're welcome, Aaron. Yeah, of course. No worries. I'm guessing you nailed that if you're saying that. Hopefully you did. Okay, do they fade this now off this one candle bounce? Would have liked a bit higher, but we'll take what we can get. Really want to see how we react into these flow zones and how we react into New York. Are we going to put in a squeeze and a bearish pattern here for me to think about a reshort back down? First bounce short. Remember supply here. Right? This is what we would traditionally expect. Reclaim up here. Shorts are off the table. Not interested in anything that high. I want something around here to fail. Ideally in front of that New York open. Going to watch liquidity on the book. All right, there is a seller adding up at 825. Oh, he just moved a little bit higher. 152 lot into around 830. That means 830, is that right? Fucking hell, yeah, it is. Jesus, pardon my French. Way too high. I'm not interested in market drifting anywhere near that for a reshort. No way. No way. Never got to know you myself. Where's my wife from? She's from England as well. We both moved here together. We met in London. Many, many years ago now. You can see on your level 2 on the DOM if you pay for data feed from CME, or you can use Bookmap. I'm using Bookmap to see it, which is just all it is level 2 data from the CME, but it's in a visual view of a heat map, basically. What I love about Bookmap is when people move their orders or lift their orders or spoof, I can see it. Whereas if you're watching the DOM, you will never know if someone's put an order in and lifted it. Unless you've seen them put the order in and you've made a mental note of it, you will never know. The historical data becomes really, really useful on Bookmaps. Why I like it. Don't care about all the indicators you can get with it. What I really care about is where the liquidity is. Definite battle here. You're into lunch, starting to slow down. Remember, we've raided a lot of the stops here, but I am thinking we can potentially move lower and retest the lows. I'm just managing this position to potentially do that right now. Need to see expansion lower, aggressive expansion lower. Don't want it to hold this imbalance down here. Want it to just get very, very weak. Watching the tape. If we hold this imbalance here, I will probably take it off. If we can't get through 30s, I'm probably going to take the runner off. Move into lunch. Is there an easier way to read book map? You almost hate it, but you try. Honestly, all I would care about is the big numbers, the big levels. Don't care about the bubbles. Don't care about any of that. Care about the resting liquidity. That's, if I was going to teach it, that's what I'd say. Just the resting liquidity. Okay, so we held that imbalance. That was what I was talking about. This right here is what I did not want to see hold. So I'm now out. All right, so that would be me done for the day. All right, trapped sellers in here, couldn't get lower. When do we get squeezes? We get squeezes when we get a failure to break lower, all right, because shorts should do this. Didn't do it, so we stop out. We definitely don't hold through this. Yeah. Anyone that held through that's getting smoked. All right, remember, if we cannot do a pattern like this, then this becomes bullish because stops are here, and we raid higher. So again, the chop will continue. How do we know the chop continues? Because we are, well, let's get rid of this. We are inside of the initial balance. IB low, IB high, V up, and midpoint around here. So if this fails to reject this and come back down, we're just going to continue to chop. Look how choppy this has actually been if you look at it even pre-market. Just think about this as a pattern. Probably blown lots of people's accounts. Trying to overstay their welcome. Even I was in danger there of overstaying, but like I said, if it couldn't break down through this here, if it held this, I was out. So I was out right here. Not holding on to wait and see, especially in lunchtime, right? Liquidity's got thin. That's me done for the day, team. I'm not going to trade the rest of this. I would love to see a raid of the lows at some point, but I am not going to sit here all day and look for it. Make sure you zoom out. All right, just zoom out on a 5-minute chart. Use a line chart if you're struggling. You are just trading between liquidity levels. All right, so remember, everyone's stops are under here and above this. So if we raid this, either we back test it and go lower, or we raid it, turn inside, and then go back upside. Same here. We either get above, hold, for a continuation, or we raid and come back inside range. Those are the only plays I would be considering later in the day. Do not trade in here. You want the extremes. The best trade in there, we had this to here. We had it. It's gone. All right, don't overstay your welcome. Hopefully lots of you are green today. Back tomorrow morning, same time as always, we're going to go over pre-market coverage. We'll think about the weekly model. Those of you who want to learn more, you can, of course, do lots of free education, which is on my YouTube right now. Totally for free. I go over lots of the models I'm looking at. If you like how I trade, if you like how I teach, if you want to know more in depth, you can do the course. With the course, you get the flow zones, right? This right here, right? Which will help you. It's a guide. It's basically like stabilizers on a bike. It stops you being the wrong side of the trend when the trend is available, and it helps you understand choppy market conditions, and you also get the Discord for free with that. All right, one-time fee, $649. Be careful, especially those trading Apex with Trader 8 today. Be a little bit careful. Links to all my preferred prop firms are down below. I'll see you tomorrow. Trade safe, use hard stops. Peace and love.